I have ties in the Orthodox Jewish world, through family members and friends. And they were like, hey, when we heard your special was coming out, Jew, from a former deep insider, they were really worried.
So you thought you were going to be a rabbi your whole life?
No, I just thought it was going to be very religious. I don't think I believe in this. So I'm not going to do the bad things just in case I second guess myself. But then when I was finally I'm ready, I went and got some Taco Bell. I do think I got trouble. It's fun to be a heel. By the way, I had a nice talk with Kanye.
From iron wombs our fathers dust breathe.
Of course, this is Badass Jews. We are back for our 814th episode. It's not that. It's going very well. Yeah. Of course, before we get into our guest, I am 3.5 weeks out. I'm very tired.
Your voice is very low.
You're low.
I'm very tired. And it's
sexy,
not...
a very sexy voice.
Thank you. I haven't changed my diet at all, but I think I skipped my last meal last night, which I usually indulge in is creamy rice and 3 scoops of protein powder, and I ate it right before bed, and then I shoot my growth. And last night I didn't have that meal because it was a refeed, so I ate a T-bone steak and potatoes.
It was a what? Refeed?
Refeed. You refeed after leg day. Yeah. You refeed like a double feed, and I have steak once a week. So
God, you guys treat yourselves like tradable slaves.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Slaves tradable.
You got to get them the right protein.
Were there no
get their bodies
slaves
right
that were not tradable? Was there one guy that's like, no, this is my best guy?
There were guys definitely off the market, like Giannis until this year.
Yeah.
Hey, he's not even available for trade rumors. You know, we're not taking offers. And then at some point they go, all right, he's getting older. He's already
because Tommy John or something, and they're like, this.
Yeah, it was you know what? Yeah, we're really not in a position to win a championship for quite some time.
Let me just jump into this. Of course, our guest today, Ari Shaffir, the most Jewish-looking person.
I don't think I've ever felt so scrawny.
Yeah, and you must feel scrawny all the time.
The cool thing about Jews is we have a lot of weapons. Every once in a while, we'll get a bear Jew like you guys.
Yeah.
But then sometimes we know what we're good at, and it's this.
Pointing at foreheads.
Yeah, baldness.
Yeah. The goal of the show is to have Jews that are not stereotypically Jewish looking.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, you look more Jewish than ever.
You guys are stereotypical.
You look, and I saw you on
I was gonna put my hair in a ponytail. I did it the last couple of days. I was like, well, I can do ponytail. What I really want is gray hair, long ponytail.
So Jewish.
I'm waiting for that. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing a Jew podcast. Let me curl up.
You look so offensively Jewish, to the point where you were on Howie Mandel's podcast and he said something like, they're attacking Jews on the streets, and Ari was like, look, it doesn't happen to me, and nobody looks more Jewish than me.
If it was gonna happen, I'm the test market.
Right.
Yeah.
You would know about it, right?
Yeah. That was a fun argument. A guy who never goes out telling me how it is in the world to a guy who's nothing but goes out.
Afraid to go outside.
Yeah.
Probably only get attacked by Chabad guys like, you want to put the film?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fill-in attacks.
They look at you and they're like, oh, this is
shake the
great.
love.
Yeah. A lot of people think that you're related to them, like Mordechai. And
I do get a lot of you look just like my friend, and I'm like, you can tell the pictures
so
is gonna be some Jew.
Jewish, like Nazi propaganda. Jewish
propaganda.
And you always
had.
Can you
put a shot of me next to that Nazi propaganda picture in post and just have it there?
You
get
always,
it now, you can do it.
Even before you looked this Jewish, you always looked Jewish. Mostly the nose.
Yeah, the nose helps.
And you always carried yourself. The first time I ever saw you was I went to the Comedy Store in LA years and years, early 2000s, and you were on stage, and most of the shtick that you had then, for lack of a better term, was Jewish stuff.
Yeah.
But it was edgy Jewish stuff. You weren't at the point where you would pull your out on stage yet.
He's getting there.
You did it, and then I saw Dice that night, and Sebastian Maniscalco was there.
Not quite that type of Jew.
No.
He is forward-facing, whatever they call it, presenting as Italian.
Yeah.
Italian presenting.
Most people that you think thought he was Italian.
I thought he was. I didn't know Silverstein. Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay.
Although lately he's looking pretty Jewish.
Yeah, now everyone grows into what they are. Same with those Latino ladies where you're like, oh, I can't. And then it's like, oh, they're going to be these papusas later that are like.
You were born into an Orthodox family. Mm-hmm. Maryland or D.C.?
Maryland, which is Greater Washington. There's Baltimore also, but Greater Washington they call it. It's the surrounding areas too. It's like if Manhattan was all of New York.
Yeah.
Harlem would be Greater New York.
How big was the family?
17 kids.
No, it wasn't.
4 kids,
which is a lot.
which is, I guess, a lot, but it was pretty normal where I grew up.
But were you like ultra? Like you weren't Hasidic?
Not Hasidic, borderline, more than Orthodox.
But they call you yeshivish? Is that what they say?
Yeah, I've never heard that term, but that would apply. We all went to yeshiva after.
Was it velvet yarmulke? Was it the knitted yarmulke?
Knitted, and then like, and if you had a girlfriend, she would knit you one.
Oh,
Did you have a girlfriend?
No, I never had a knitted yarmulke. My friend Yair, his girlfriend was like, felt bad for me. She was like, Yair, can I make him one? And she was like, yeah, go for it. So that was the first cook.
You were
Someone allowed his girlfriend to make a yarmulke for
you
someone
were
else.
a nerd.
Yeah,
were you a nerd?
I've never had
Did you have
girlfriends.
glasses when you were a kid?
No, not till college. I got back from yeshiva, from seminary.
So
And I was like in the back at Yeshiva University, always in my seat in the back. And then I'm like, is everybody writing blurrier now?
yeah.
Like, why is I cannot see it? I'm like, it was 2 years, my vision went. I didn't need it in Yeshiva. It was
was
all
your-
like a book right here.
What was your dad like? He's still around?
Still around? Yeah, like a boss. He came in to visit Yeshiva and I was like, why is he wearing a suit?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's how he carries himself.
where was he from?
From originally Romania.
Okay.
Then after the war, his family, the greater family found each other.
After the war. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 52,
And how old was your father?
90.
Jeez.
Oh wow. Okay, so they had you
Yeah.
late. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, his family got displaced.
Wow.
And then and then they found each other in a refugee camp after the war. It's weird. It's like, you know, when you do a joke about like you had weed on you, and you have to be like, by the way, guys, this was at a time when weed was illegal.
Yeah.
To even make you understand
Yeah.
how illegal this was like 15 years ago. You know, now it's like not illegal.
Right.
So these stories, you know, you're like, I was smoking weed in an alley in Thailand. It's like, well, you could have gone to jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like more, but people don't understand that. So like to find your family after the war ended, there was no phones or
Right.
No.
emails or anything. There was like, put your name in to the guys, and then like they're gonna get the word out to the other camps, and maybe, you know, they didn't even have a good way to get the word out. You just assume everyone was killed.
Yeah.
And everyone in the greater family was killed except one person. Everyone in his direct family survived. Just crazy. They were just far enough east where the Nazis got there late. But if they were in like Bucharest, yeah, no chance.
So where was the refugee camp?
I don't know. They were Romanian. They were taken to somewhere else, but I don't know.
I
He ended up
found
in a
out
work camp.
my
Yeah.
timeline is Romanian, and I had
really?
no idea. I went
Really?
through life thinking, "Oh, I'm Polish,"
Polish, yeah.
and I found out Romanian. And my great grandfather was beaten to death in Toronto, of all places.
Really?
Because he was like a non-union construction guy. Went to this site. The union guys came in the 20s.
Wow.
Beat the fuck out of him,
Wow.
and
Wow.
he died.
Wow.
Do you have stories like that in your family where these Romanians were beaten to death? Because I'm trying to find out if it's a people hated Romanian thing.
Gypsies.
Gypsies hated
yeah.
Romanians?
No. Romanians hate gypsies.
Everyone hates
I was on stage in Cluj-Napoca and Bucharest, and I mentioned something about gypsies. The crowd got weird. You know when you could tell like somebody got weird? Like if you do
Yeah.
a school shooting joke and you didn't know there was one this morning.
Yeah.
You've been doing this joke for
Right.
3 years, and everyone's like, why is everyone quiet? And like something's up.
Right.
It has a different meaning.
You're at Columbine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, or me and Big J were in Miami, and I was doing a school shooting joke, and I would always go, "Have you had one here?" And someone would be like, "Yeah, we had one." I'm like, "One? That doesn't count."
Yeah.
And then in Miami, they're like, "Yeah, we had the worst one
Yeah, right.
at kindergarten." I was like, and part of me was like, "I should stop this bit," but the other part of me was like, "Let me test it."
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to double down at that point.
People were so mad. Some lady started trying to heckle, and her husband was like, "Stop!" And she turned her chair away from me and was aggressively texting.
Yeah.
To like, and it was like, okay, so certain things hit different. And when I said gypsy, it got weird, and I was like, "Is that your N-word?"
Right.
And they were kind of like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Because in America, we don't know what the gypsies are. We don't have them here.
We don't really have
Yeah.
them. We have like carnies and shit, but
Right,
like,
right.
which is like I think from them, but like it's the last universally accepted racism. In Spain, you bring up
Gypsy.
gypsy, like them, like publicly, very liberal
Do they
people.
spit in public like when you say like that?
Right.
That's
Just want
nice.
out.
Well, we react to like gypsies here the way like, you go to like China or something that like talk about Jews. They're like, I don't know. I've never seen one.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know us enough to hate us yet.
So is there a politically correct term for gypsy?
Honestly, probably, but like no one bothers because like I'm not trying to be politically correct.
Oh, I know. It's the Romani people, right? I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I once looked it up because I was so interested in this. Did you ever see the movie Thinner? You remember the movie Thinner? It was like a
Romani. You're absolutely right.
Stephen King did a movie called Thinner where a gypsy put a curse on a guy and he's
An
going to get
offensive
dinner.
racial.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you said the N-word basically.
Romani, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Romani people. Yeah.
So, but they're like, we're not bothering to use African American.
Right.
We're gonna just drop the
So
N.
they'll say the N-word, but they won't say
because they're like say it with disgust and it's accepted. No one goes at worst, maybe in liberal like London, maybe in Eastern London, but in general they're like you could say it. Fuck them.
yeah.
Okay, good. Let me.
Anyway, so
No,
yeah,
I want to
so-
ask something because we started on this.
Sensitive.
So there was no tales of that in Romania from me, but
We mentioned tradable slaves.
we'd be remiss if we didn't join back into that.
Do Jews have a claim to being the first slaves ever,
No.
from your knowledge of history?
I can't imagine, yes, because obviously it was well known. No way Egypt invented slavery.
There were slaves before.
There were slaves
Egypt.
before.
Yeah, probably.
So, like, I mean, you look at the Mel Gibson, whatever that movie was. that he
Passion of
made.
Christ?
No,
Video of him driving
No,
drunk?
the Spanish one. The one that was in, like,
Oh, Apocalypto.
Apocalypto.
Awesome movie.
Yeah, those other tribes would grab them and, like, turn them into slaves or sacrifices.
So not a new thing.
I think it was, like, pretty standard. Like,
Jews as slaves on a scale of 1 to 10, and not
Did a long
Jews were
time,
probably
did a long
more
time.
badass back then than they are now. Generally,
probably had to be ripped. Had that, early Eminem. When he
Yeah.
took his shirt off, he was like thin but cut.
Yeah.
That's the kind of bodies
Like
they probably
Jesus.
had. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Definitely no trans fats
No.
in their diet.
They didn't have them back then.
Yeah, no, there was no way they were
Fish
fucking
and loaves.
getting high.
That's all they were
and
eating.
Doritos late at night.
fish and loaves.
Fish and loaves, and that was that good wheat.
Yeah, they
You know,
probably had.
that European wheat that doesn't make you fat.
Yeah,
I had a joke about it where it's like, this is a true thing, that there is surprising amount of Holocaust survivors that have lived past 100.
Yeah.
It's like super high compared to the average. And it was like, what does this attribute to? And then the joke was like, it just shows you how important a diet low in trans fat can be. Even for a 5-year period, it really helped them survive later.
very good. When you're raised Orthodoxy, yeshiva-ish,
Yeah.
did you believe in God as a kid?
I thought I did. You didn't really think about it, It's like, what should I compare it to? It's like when you don't think about things, it just never enters your brain of like, is this possible? So like, you accept the medical system here in America until you get a little older and go to other places and go, oh, it's actually not great.
Yeah.
But you assume, oh, we're just first world country, we probably have the best medical. Or hey, our politicians are doing the right thing for us. Until you get a little older and you go, oh, they're all mostly crooks.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older than the politicians, a lot of them,
Yeah.
you guys probably are too. You're like, oh, you're not this like
Good
Yeah,
person.
and doctors, you guys get tired late in the day. You're humans.
Yeah.
So, what was the question? Oh yeah, so I didn't know what I was missing out on at
Right.
all.
But you're reading books, you're
I assu-
praying
I assu-
every day.
right, I assumed I believed in God.
And what was that like? What did you think God was?
Yeah, a guy in the sky, with a big beard. That's how you picture it.
That's so fun.
And
That's how you picture it, yeah.
Yeah, but they always told us like, no, God doesn't have a gender. God is the first non-binary.
Yeah. And they were teaching you this.
Yeah. What's the world? Not when you're sometimes men, sometimes woman, or sometimes other. It's when you're none of those. Is there something
Fluid.
like that?
Gender
Not
fluid?
fluid because that's
Ian, what
moving
are
back
you?
and forth.
Non-binary?
Asexual.
Agendered, maybe agendered.
Genderless?
Hermaphrodite?
No, hermaphrodite has both.
Both.
Oh.
Both things.
The
on it.
opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like those guys that tuck
But
their
that's
dicks.
interesting you said, because so I grew up Orthodox also.
Oh, okay.
You went to yeshiva and all that stuff. So, and like at the time, like you're right, like you don't really think about it. You're kind of just like, this is the way it is.
Uh-huh.
And then when you're forced to, after you leave that world, you're like, I went through. I'm at a place where I don't know what I believe. I'm pretty sure it's not real, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was, kind of thing. I go back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
but when you leave there, there's so many things about the real world that kind of like probably shocked you. I'm sure you went through that experience where you're like, oh wait, all the goyim are not all out to get you. It's not like because you're told that when you talk to a guy, just be careful. They're going to immediately hate you and blah blah blah. And I didn't find that to be the case at all.
You grew up in New York area?
Yeah, but even until like 2 years ago, I didn't really feel like people were like that anti-Semitic. I think people were just more like curious about Jews.
We never got raised with don't trust the guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Long Island. I grew up like, you know.
That wasn't, it was obviously you support your own.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody does or should do that. Like Killer Mike had a story of like, black people need to support their own, need to go to like black dentists and whatever, because the black dollar leaves our community in like 25 minutes. The Jewish dollar stays in the community for months.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, you go, who's the Jewish dentist like in the community? Like, well, let's go to him. They're all good. So let's just go to the one we know.
I still do that. I still pick a Jewish doctor over another doctor.
Yeah, that. I'll go with Indian too.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not a nose specialist where I'm like, I can't tell if I'm smelling you. I don't know. I have no idea that if I'm fixed or not, or if it's just overpowered.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was just like we had our separate world.
Yeah, there is a realization when you leave though that like this is like, you feel like, oh wow, this is probably bullshit, and also. There's let me ask you actually, because it's more of a question. Did you feel guilty when you were leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, because that is a thing, and
How do you leave?
Because I wasn't sure.
How do you leave?
I was in Yeshiva University.
Yeah.
In
how old?
Crown Heights. This was 20, going on 21.
Yeah.
I went to Yeshiva. Okay, I'm going to use that word interchangeably. Yeshiva in Israel is kind of a seminary, but not everybody does it to become a rabbi. You just do it after. Everyone does it after high school for 1 or 2 years. Some just stay.
Yeah.
And then they go on to go rabbinical tract, It's like pre-law. You can get out of law.
Okay.
Doing pre-law, pre-med.
So you thought you were going to be a rabbi your whole life?
No, I just thought it was going to be very religious.
Okay.
And so you go this for some extra training to help you on your way in life.
Were you spiritual at the time, or did you think you were?
For sure.
Okay.
And I was, on was it Tisha B'Av or Shavuos? I forget which one is the giving of the Torah holiday.
That's
Is it Shavuos?
Shavuos, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so you learn the Talmud and the Torah all night long.
It's hilarious, but that is another thing. When you leave the religion after years, you do start to forget everything. Because I used to know this stuff like the back of my hand, and
I remember stuff strangely. And if people are singing a song in ancient Hebrew, I can sing along with them word for word.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard that song in 20 years, but I'm like, it's in there. But so you learn all night, and then about an hour before sunrise, you march and sing and dance through the old city to the Western Wall and say the first chance you get at just the beginning of sunrise is the very first moment you're allowed to say the morning prayer. And so right when that's happening, you pray that prayer at the Western Wall, and it feels so spiritual. You feel so connected. But yeah, it wasn't really deep in me. So then I switched from yeshiva seminary to this college called Yeshiva University in Spanish Harlem, I think. And it was split curriculum, English and rabbinical. And then, it hit me. I was like, I don't think I believe in this. But I wasn't sure, probably like you. I wasn't sure. And I was like, everything I was taught was the other way. So you're like, I had to leave. So I'm like, well, if I'm really done, let me make sure. Let me not fuck up until I'm sure. It's like when I had this girlfriend once. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be in it, but she would do this thing. She was an assistant for a celebrity, and she would leave. She had work. I didn't. And before she left, she would blow me to completion, and then in the morning, and then leave. And then every time I was like, I want to break up, like, well, don't be hasty on this. You're not going to get this again. Right. So you got to be sure.
Yeah.
So it lasted a little longer than it should have, because I was like, maybe. So I was like, I don't think I believe in this. I'm not going to like do the bad things just in case I second guess myself. But then when I was finally like, I'm ready, I went and got some Taco Bell.
But there's also something about probably Judaism at that level that puts in your head, like, you may have doubts about your religion, but you have to see these doubts through. Was there something?
Well, there's a long history in the Talmud of questioning. It's actually part of the upbringing. It's like you're supposed to question. I think even in Orthodox Judaism now, that it's like, don't question, but like really it's like the basis is do question.
Which is also when someone's converting, you want them to question it and not want to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the question, and by the way, you're going to find an answer.
Yeah.
So find the answer. It's all worked out. Right. So like, absolutely, if you have questions, like if something's nagging you, you should if it's like, there's all these stories in the Torah that the Talmud discusses, like why would Abraham say that his wife was his sister? Why would God say to the woman, hey, you're fucking up, when Abraham or Isaac, I forget which one, was also fucking up? And it's like, oh, the reason is you don't embarrass everybody. You embarrass as few people as you can, and the rest can just learn from it. Like at workplace, you're like, hey guys, a lot of people are coming in late. And it's like, it's Margaret. But you don't say Margaret because she'll be embarrassed.
Is there a pressure that Judaism puts onto its followers, and probably Christianity does too, where it's like, you need to be like the people in the Bible, you need to be like the people in the Torah? Is that something that is pushed into your head at an Orthodox level, where you're trying to be like these people?
Yeah, so, and all these questions, there's two answers. There's what is written and what is actually done.
Right.
So it's like that's not what it teaches. Like, yeah, but if everyone's doing that, shut up. Supporting Jewish-owned businesses, there's no proof for that in the Talmud or the Torah. But it's like, it's communal. That's what you do.
What's the worst thing written in the Talmud that anti-Semites use against us now?
Mitzvah Bepeh, or whatever it's called. It's when during the circumcisions.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh no, it's more of a. Not all the blood yet. I don't have all the blood.
They really use. I have to explain to people, like, it's not sexual.
Yeah,
we're not attracted to a 8-day-old baby's. It's just like, it's a non-thing.
But it doesn't look good.
No. They actually don't do it anymore. Sometimes the one I saw, I go like this. And go like, and you go like that. But then it's like, oh, so you're jerking them off? Like, no, it's an 8-day-old baby.
She'll lick her hand and then touch the tip.
At least it's in our Talmud. Like, what are the priests? What are they? It's not
right. So the priest fucking, that's not in the
what do
the
they
Bible.
Do?
Yeah, but like, if your mom goes like this and wipes shit her face, you're not like, you're licking her face.
Yeah,
like,
but
no, it's not.
But you still. You go, ugh.
Yeah, so they use that one against us for sure.
Oh, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah. It used to be when I was growing up, before that was like discovered. It was how come you charge interest to a non-Jew but not to a Jew? Right. And we actually discussed that in yeshiva. It's not that charging interest is a negative. It's like, well, why would you're going to loan money to someone for a business? You have to do it for a profit.
Right.
That's just, otherwise some people will default and you'll just be down a ton of money. You're taking a risk. It's not that. That's the standard. But since it's a Jew, that's your family, that's your brother, you afford them. If I'm going to loan you $100, I don't go, give me interest.
Right.
It's my buddy.
Right.
Or even a non-Jewish buddy. If I'm Derek Gaines, I'm like, yeah, pay me back next week.
Yeah.
Because it's your friend. So that's what they say, like, don't charge interest to a Jew.
Okay.
But they used, that was the biggest one back then. It was like, this seems wrong.
Right. Well, it's not like you're tricking them, like, oh, the interest that comes in later. Like, no, it's the negotiation.
It's not like a mafia thing. Yeah.
And like the way you're explaining, it's like, your brother, you're not going to charge interest to, but some stranger, sure, I'm happy to lend you money.
So you're affording. So that was the biggest one when I was growing up of the what they would use.
So your transition occurs. You leave.
Transition. You go. Religious.
I'm not religious anymore. I now identify as a non-religious. Do you go right to non-religious, or do you just go?
I should go back to where I was like trying to make people understand something. It's like through metaphor or through other examples. It's really good, and it's like talking about these people who converted when they're in Seinfeld. Like, I can make 2 jokes now.
Right.
People who convert and they're like, I'm Jewish now. And it's like, they went through the whole thing. And it's like, great, sure. But you didn't have a bar mitzvah. You didn't know what it was like to study for a year to be able to like read from the Torah one time for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
Poorly, yeah. And everyone's like, he made 2 mistakes. My friend made 1.
Right.
He's 0 mistakes. Fuck. You just didn't go through that. So it's like, sure, you're Jewish, but it's a bit of a different experience.
Right.
Like, I understand. Yes, you're Jewish. You're going to synagogue just like me, or just like, the people were saying. But it's different. And that's how women feel about trans women.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I get it. No, you're a woman, but you didn't have your first period and not know what it was.
That's hilarious.
It's just not exactly the same. That's what a turf is. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trans religious.
So you leave it all together, or you're just like, I don't believe in it at this level, or I don't believe.
No, I was like, so then my intellect brain went, if I don't believe in it, there's no reason to do any of it.
Okay.
But also, as I've gotten older, I've realized like there's things I don't understand, and it's tough to comment on stuff. Like in Ecuador, a lot of the farmers in the outskirts, in like the countryside, were growing weed and drugs, and people were like, "Fuck, you shouldn't do that." And then the farmers are like, "Well, the gangs came in and said, if you do this, we're going to give you a ton of money. You're barely getting by on tomatoes. If you don't do it, we're going to kill your sister. So fuck off." So you tell them no.
Right.
It's like, it's not, so then like, oh yeah, you just didn't realize people have a different experience. So I thought I knew everything. I was like, if I don't believe in it, I shouldn't do it. But there is a sense of community. There is something there that I didn't really understand yet. Probably you guys relate to the culture of Judaism.
Do you miss that in a way?
Yeah. It was a big loss early on where I was like, oh, there's no one looking out I'm on my own now. It was tough. I didn't realize I was part of this community until it was gone from it.
Were there people who try to reach out to you? Like, I know like the Lubavitch community is like big in like outreach, and were they like trying to like, come for Shabbat dinner? I know you don't believe this, but come on. And were you kind of pushing them aside, or that never even happened?
Yeah, I had my favorite rabbi, Rav Ryan, in college. I mean, in yeshiva, he was always trying to get me to do little things to come back. He was doing it always in the nicest way. He got me to get serious at first. I was like, one of our friends was in town. So if a friend's father was visiting, you'd get a good meal.
Yeah.
And it was in Jerusalem, so it was like pretty cheap. But there's like, we're taking everybody out for steaks. Like, yes. And it was like $10 each.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, can I go out with Mr. Zakheim? And he goes, well, you already went out last week and the week before. And I was like, for other stuff. And I was like, he goes, tell you what, you can go out, but then you cannot miss a class for 2 straight weeks. And I was like, okay, yeah, deal. And then I was just hard in after that. After 2 straight weeks of like really doing it, I was like succeeding for the first time.
Yeah.
All you had to do there was just like sit with an open book, and that's an A. And I was always getting C's.
Yeah.
So I was like, for the first time, I was getting attaboys from my teachers. I'd always get like, we need to call you in for meetings from my teachers,
Yeah.
So it was the first time I was actually doing it. So that felt good. Anyway, you lose the community. It's just like, it just wasn't expected. But I've kind of regained that a little bit. It's fun to be Jewish now.
Well, I feel like when you're a special Jew, like there's a bunch of people in the audience who are like, at one point you're like asking them a question, like like non-Jews don't shout, but there are people who are Jews that were shouting out the answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you have a lot of Jewish fans who,
especially in New York City.
Well, the funny thing is, I was shocked is I have friends that are still religious, and they're like, oh, Ari Shaffir, yeah. And it's like,
I went to my nephew's, yeah.
But the funny thing is that like they don't give a shit that you're not religious. Like for them, it's like there's someone they can relate to. Oh, he knows that experience and he's doing comedy or whatever it is. So I think as much as you feel like you're not a part of it, they feel connected in some way. Yeah,
I went to my nephew's wedding. Second niece nephew that got married, 23, late for them.
Wow.
And yeah. Yeah. And I made sure to do these because I was lucky.
Yeah.
I just curled them up and I was like, all right, let me have those. So you can't really see it there. But
black hat on. And
I did. I had a brown hat I found. I tried my best to really blend in. The dad was like, my brother-in-law was like, nice. good try. Yeah, but I had a lot of people like, oh my God, I showed your special to my kids.
Yeah.
And then when it came out, a special Jew, it was kind of my opus. It was like a long time coming and thinking about it. It's available on Netflix right now. It's also available on YouTube right now.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, watch it wherever. Yeah, when it came out, it was the first wave of what they're calling like the new anti-Semitism. It was like Kyrie Irving and early Kanye.
Right.
By the way, I had a nice talk with Kanye.
Did you?
Yeah. He kind of explained it all.
In person?
Yeah.
Where?
The Comedy Store.
Really?
Bro. It was wild.
Okay.
What?
What did he say?
I've love to be a fly on the wall with that.
I was a fly on the wall. He was explaining it to like Chappelle and Talib Kweli and Jeff Ross and Shane and
it wasn't until you one-on-one.
Chris Rock. Yeah, and I was sitting right there. It was nuts.
What did he say? Like in a nutshell, what was it? Like
he came by.
Made a mistake.
Chappelle happened to me and Shane and Pope and Pope's chick and McKeever and who else was there? McCann.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think McCann. I don't know. Charles. Maybe McCann not. Doesn't matter. we're all eating, and then Chappelle showed up randomly. But he's like, "Oh, what's up?" He's friends with Shane. Yeah. Didn't know he knew my name, but then he was like, "Ari, I love your stuff." I was like, "What?" It was crazy. It was so cool. Then Kanye showed up. Chris Rock showed up. Louis showed up. Yeah, Sam J was there too. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Kanye's just playing music on the auxiliary in the back smoking room. Like his own unreleased music. It was like so cool.
Yeah.
Then we all went to the Comedy Store. Chappelle hosted. At the end of the night, it was already midnight. And then he was like, went on. He did 5 minutes, which is, you understand.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Brought up Shane, brought up Louis, brought up Rock, brought up Kanye to say hello. Then we're all in the back bar. And he was just explaining his mania. He was like, it wasn't up, and he's playing his songs, you know, which was like, it was so fucking cool. Say whatever you want.
Yeah. Music's
but don't
great.
say the music's not good.
The music's great.
That's rich.
I don't understand when people. I mean, when he said, because I remember he had that talk with that rabbi or something like recently. I don't know if you saw it, but where he's basically, "I'm sorry, you know, I have bipolar disorder," and it's like, I don't know who didn't know that. I think like when you see him.
Well, yeah, I never like those people taking advantage of him for podcast views. All these people are like, well, I wanted to help him. Like, why are you airing this though?
Yeah.
You want to help him, but you come in and you realize you just recorded someone who's in a manic state.
Right.
You shouldn't be airing this. It's kind of bullshit.
And it is clear that he's mad. I mean, listen, let's look at him throughout his entire career. He's very extremely talented.
Yeah.
There's not a question about that. And then he has these manic outbursts. It's not always about the Jews. That was just one episode. But remember when he went on stage and he did this thing and that thing. But the guy's talented.
So he starts talking about it, and he goes, "Guys, it wasn't about the Jews. I was crazy.
Yeah.
I was off my medication that I take because I'm crazy, and I was off it." And he goes, "It could have been about the Jews. It could have been about the gays. It could have been about immigrants. It could have been about anything. It wasn't about any of those." I compare it to like if you get the Tourette's where you say, you know, curse words a lot, or you get the N-word Tourette's.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same disease.
Well, what's Nick Fuentes' excuse then?
But he was like, I was crazy. He's like, Dave Chappelle, you're one of my best friends. I went after you so hard.
Yeah.
And you're one of my best friends. And here we are okay again. But it's like, I was crazy.
Yeah.
He goes, that's what you got to understand. None of that mattered. I was crazy. And he points at me and he goes, that guy has a bit about it. I was like, wow. Charles was like, did you hear that? I was like, wait, what? Yeah, it was so cool.
That's crazy.
But he was explaining, it was like, wasn't that? So anyway, but that new anti-Semitism with Kyrie and him were coming, and they were really pushing it up. Jews, I think, and non-Jews alike were pushing it up and making it more of a thing instead of just letting it go away. And so I have ties in the Orthodox Jewish world, you know, through family members and friends. And they were like, hey, when we heard your special was coming out, Jew, from a former like deep insider, they were really worried. Like, this is the last thing we need right now, is someone to like be shitting on us from an insider perspective, like those guys like Leah Remini, you know, talking about Scientology. And it was like, they didn't like that, I'm sure.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like, I had great times there. It was like, I'm going to tell you some insider shit. It's really bad.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, my first date, it was great. Went to the church in Salt Lake City.
I'm clear.
Yeah. Oh, that's more. Yeah, they were worried. But then when it said it came out, they're like, oh, it wasn't that at all. It was like a love letter.
Yeah.
They were like, I mean, far too much cursing.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah, like, oh, we're totally cool with it. And that's what I was hoping for anyway.
But that's what it felt like. You know, I saw it with my brother, and I have an older brother who was atheist for a long time, became like a Chabad rabbi recently. He's gone, you know, in different directions, but we were talking about it, and it was like this inside baseball thing. Like, we're watching, you know, a comedy special. And it's like, I get that reference. I know what he's talking about. Even though now he's religious, like, he got what you were saying. Like, it's funny. And that's the thing, too, by the way. It's like, you're not just, you know, tearing Judaism a new asshole. You're making jokes.
Yeah.
And they're funny. And I think even Orthodox Jews who don't agree with maybe your end take on it are still like, yeah, this is funny.
I can also, well, I try to do it in places where they, like you said before, was like, what's a Jew?
Right.
Like Reykjavik, Iceland, Perth, Australia. And I'm like, I got to make these people laugh at it. Otherwise, it's too insider.
So you're running the whole show, traveling
all around the world.
which is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. You can't
Chris
run it.
Rock used to go to like old folks areas in
Yeah, that's what I
Florida and be
heard.
like, okay, if this
I got to
is
make
going to
them
fly
laugh
here,
at this.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I heard a David Spade thing. He came out with a special, which my friend Jarrett was like, I like that one better. It was a hot take, but David Spade, this is secondhand, so I don't know if it's true, was like, are you going to run it a bunch? He goes, nah. It's like, why? Chris Rock did it at old age homes and everywhere. And he goes, yeah, I'm not as good as him. So I'm just not even
Really?
hard. I mean, yeah, he was two of the top 10 specials of all time.
And not to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, you constantly have these phases of growth where you'll evolve and you push yourself to get better. Years ago, this is probably 20 years ago, you did like a thing at the store where you had other comics in and you were doing pretty well at the time. And you're like, we all suck. We're all horrible. None of us are really good. We're all shit. And then you'll evolve. So you went from this, to say basically at the intro, when I first saw you, you're a Jew comic. And then you go to maybe a bit more of a shocking R-rated comic. And now you still work, I wouldn't say blue. There's nothing off the table, but shock is not your priority. It's the jokes, and it's about what you're conveying with the jokes, right?
What you're conveying. So, I had a lot of help. They say nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's like, there's not one data point. There's a lot of so you could be like, you could have two professors as parents. You can be in a private school that takes care of you. But if one of your friends gets into heroin, then the odds of you getting into heroin shoot up dramatically.
Yeah.
And if one of your friends doesn't, then, so it's like, it's both together, So I had got lucky a few times. I never booked any sitcom or acting work, so I could just concentrate on stand-up. I thought that was a negative. It turned out a massive positive.
Was there something you were looking up to right as you were getting into comedy that you're like, oh, I would model myself after this person? Or
well, luckily at the Comedy Store, they called it the dark years. It was like no one was successful there. Rogan was there. Bobby Lee was there. That's kind of it. Bobby was on Mad TV right after I got there. Rogan had just finished News Radio, which was not even a hit.
Yeah.
It was like top 25 show, right around there. Lasted for 4 or 5 years, but probably never was safely lasted.
Yeah.
But then you see guys like Ralphie May and Schubert and all these killers, and you could learn from something from each one of them. Don Barris, where you're like, I could learn how to be like in the moment, really. Him and Freddie Soto, and then Diaz Diaz was the most like himself.
Yeah.
Off stage and on stage, there was no act. Same guy, he'd be telling you a story, and then be like, oh shit, I'm going on, and finish the story on stage, and there's no change.
Yeah.
See other guys putting on airs, I do, to a degree for sure, but I'm not exactly, I'm a stylized version of myself. On a date, it's this isn't just what I'm wearing.
Right.
I put on, I'm not going to buy a new wardrobe, but
yeah,
I'm going to put a nicer of my type, and I dated a couple artists.
Yeah.
Visual artists. And that got me able to think about it in a different way, because they would talk about stand-up in a way that they would talk about their paintings.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're like, what are you trying to say? Mm-hmm. It's not just literal. What are you trying to say? So this lady, Ashley Snow Maycomber, she had this whole series on masks and the masks people wear. Mm-hmm. And how we're just not ourselves at any time. Mm. It depends who we're around. You around your parents are just a different person than you around your friends, and around your wife is another. You were all wearing these masks. Rogan had a bit about it a long time ago, where his wife's like, how come, you're nice, but then you're around your friends, you're loud, obnoxious, and you're crude. And he's like, that's how I really am.
Yeah.
But this mask, and then she actually painted one about me, and it was like a man wearing this wolf mask with all these other things dancing around their head, and it was me being non-monogamous and having other women dancing around my head. Actually, it's what broke us up, to be honest.
I know you're cheating. Here's a painting to prove it.
It actually was what ruined it. But it was just so high level, and I was like, so what you see here is a guy wearing a wolf mask with nymphs around him. But I'm trying to say something. So I was like, I could get to that with my stand-up. I didn't think it was possible. So that was a bit, when you're saying growth things.
Yeah.
One was seeing what these other big comics were able to do. Whoa, you're really going to Latino shows and helping Gabriel and Iglesias and Felipe Esparza. Go, dude, you got to go at these people. You can't do this light thing. These people are animals. You got to jump on them.
Yeah.
You got to go hard. Or they'll turn on you, and okay, and learn from them,
It's interesting, years ago, 6 years ago, I was doing open mics. I was like, yeah, maybe get into comedy. I like writing. So, and what, people don't tell you, because I watch a lot of comedy, but coming from like the acting background and this and that, actors are very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
When you go on stage, it is like being thrown into like a lion's pit, because like you get off stage and if you suck, someone is not just thinking that you suck. They're like, dude, that was fucking horrible. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have that was great. Try doing this a little differently. It's like, you suck. Don't ever come back on stage. That was awful. And in a way, I love that honesty, but it's brutal.
It's brutal. I saw at Skankfest Houston, maybe. There was, I was like, what's the Houston? They had Kill Tony, I think, or maybe a Naked Roast, one of those two. And there was something for the young comics. And I saw him in the green room later. I was like, what's the scene like here? He goes, not great. And I was like, how come? Because Houston was always the coolest scene in Texas. And I remember talking to me and Norman did a music/comedy festival. And I talked to a comic then, and she was like, no, it's the best here because we're still fighting. In Austin, everyone's pretty liberal. So unless there's a cowboy visiting from out of town, it's already, everyone's converted. So you're not fighting against it. But in Houston, you get fucking these rednecks all the time. So if you have, which most comics are pretty socially liberal, you're fighting against, like, we're in the fucking gay art world, so it's like, but it's like, it's a real battle here. I was like, oh, interesting. Austin was weird. It was always weird. Keep Austin weird.
Yeah,
that's done now. But like, as tech moved in.
Yeah.
But like, anyway, I was like, what's the scene like now in Houston? This was 10 years later, and the guy's like, not good. I'm like, why? He goes, no one makes fun of us. They're all so scared of like being outed as mean that we don't have anyone making fun of us. This is a young black kid. He was so smart. He goes, the stories I heard about Patrice, he goes, we kind of desperately need that. Yeah. And instead it's like, good job. And we need somebody to go, dude, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
And that's what I always thought hurt female comics the most, is all these male comics wouldn't give that to them.
Yeah.
Because they wanted either to have them around or maybe fuck. But so they just like, well, good job. And what they really needed is somebody to go, bro, that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
That negative feedback works better though. Like coming from like the bodybuilding and fitness world, like, when someone's like, you don't really have the, your biceps aren't there. You're like, oh my God. But
yeah, you want to hear that you are there.
Yeah,
but that's not what's helpful.
Instead of crying about it, you're like, I'm going to get my biceps the biggest they've ever been,
Yeah.
I said this the other day. Yesterday, I'm doing legs, and I said to my coach, I go, why does failure feel so good in the gym, but so bad outside? And he goes, because you haven't made that correlation that you grow from failure the same way outside the gym as you do inside the gym. You need to fail to get better. You fail. I mean, I've seen you eat shit a lot of times.
All the time.
A lot of
more
times.
than most people, I would say.
Yeah. And it's not comfortable.
No, I never like it.
It's never good. You never come off going, oh, that felt good. I'm so happy I bombed. You never want to bomb.
No, you're always swinging for a home run.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have a wiffle ball bat, which is like a new bit.
Comes from. I know I'm not growing when I'm like, oh, I'm murdering all the time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, take a chance.
And it's like it's stagnant.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I went to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Did my storytelling show out there. But then I saw all these comics doing a different type. Where we talked about David Cross before we started, how they were doing a different genre of stand-up here in the yachts in New York. How wild and interesting it was. And I was like, I've never seen that style of comedy. And everyone's like, the European, mostly British and Irish comics suck. Was always the thing. And it's like, sure, our best are far, far better than their best, but they're 5-year comics. We're doing a new hour every year.
Yeah.
And they weren't specials, and they weren't asked to be treated like specials, but they were doing, whereas our 5-year comics have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they're actually lapping us early. I don't know where they lose it. Maybe it's that
maybe TV. I think a lot of them get on TV.
Yeah, maybe.
There's more TV over there.
Yeah. But I saw this style of like theme hours, and anything between informational, a story, a 1-hour story. This guy Steve Bugeja wasn't nominated for any awards that year, but it blew me away. It was a story about this girl he was looking to date for forever, and then never worked out, and then he plays himself like a nerd, and then she was getting married, and he was like some firefighter who gives a shit about that, so whatever. He's making himself the nerd, but she's like, hey, before, if you're coming from whatever Leeds, can you pick up my dad on the way and drive him to the wedding?
Yeah.
It's like, sure. She didn't tell him he was getting out of prison after 20 years.
Yeah.
And so he goes, this guy, it wasn't a false arrest. He did really bad things.
Yeah.
And so I'm a bit scared. And he picks this guy up and then he's like, hey, stop here. There's this great, like, whatever, record store. And he goes, what is this? It's a rest stop now? And having to like, he goes, let me put this DVD in, or CD in. He goes, a what? He goes, oh, a CD. He goes, what the fuck's a CD?
Yeah.
Because it was in a different, now it's nothing, but like, you know, and it was just like, and then finally gets to the wedding. It was this really arc of a story for an hour, for 55 minutes. I was like, wow. And then this guy, Finn Taylor, did two, I kept going back to Edinburgh, so seeing more of it. One was called Whitey McWhiterson. It was all about being white in today's era.
Yeah.
And it covers the South Park way of every side of it. And then the next one was When Heresy Met Sally. It was all about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And every side of it, it was jokes about like how men react when one was like, you know, I was molested. And instead of going, dudes instead of going, I'm really sorry that happened to you, they go, well, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's not, I know, no one's accusing you. And nobody knows how to handle this. And it was just like, wow, that's an informational one. And so I was like, yeah, that if, and they all thought they were better than us. But I'm like, no, you guys are way worse than us. But you do have one angle to say that you are better than us.
Yeah.
These hours that hold together like a great music album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Van Halen ones were all just a collection of songs, but sometimes you're like, this is about Tommy's The Who.
Yep.
You know, that's a story one. And you can't put a random other song in here, it wouldn't fit. And I was like, I want to try that. I want to try to shut them the fuck up.
Good.
And so then I was like, it's time to start doing juice. So I had to go 2 different times. So I went with my storytellers, just saw a lot. Then I presented an American Hour 2 years later.
Yeah.
Which was my special before that. So. And then my plan was then the time after that, I was going to show, now I'm going to do an Edinburgh style hour, but with American sensibilities, which is crushing. I want it to be funny and not that 20 minutes of serious that bothers all of us.
Yeah.
There was a special that came out that bothered a lot of American comics because they weren't used to that style. And they were like, why is this so serious?
Was that Drew Michael with no audience?
No.
Out of Gatsby?
Hannah Gadsby, yeah. And it bugged them. But everyone who saw it, who's fucking Long Neck McGee? What's her name? I can't
Long Neck McGee.
Forget her name. She goes to Spain a lot. Carmen. No offense, Carmen. I've been traveling. I lost all my names. It was really crazy. People would ask me about my good friends. And I'm like, it's gone.
Yeah.
She said she was there, live, saw it. Brendan Berg said it was live, saw it there. Everyone I knew saw it live was like, it was they came out of there going, what the f did I just see? But then when you put it on TV and you bring it here, people, this American style, they don't like, they're like, why is it serious? And I see their point too. I'm like, yeah, why is it? And you see Miss Pat, I'm like, she doesn't get serious when she talks about she says jokey. Now we see on the roast, you see Cheryl Underwood, it's like, yeah, make fun of my fucking, make fun of my, She goes, when I got, R word, whatever, bleep it, I guess.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah. It's funny, they won't let you talk about your own without bleeping it. She goes, yeah, I had to figure, I had to go on stage and make this funny.
Yeah.
That's the only way to present my views to them. That's my form. So anyway, I was like, let me do this with Jew and present this. It was a spite special. It's just shut up British comics.
So you've grown to this point where now you do the next hour. I guess you start building it when you come back. You're not officially back yet, right?
Yeah, I'm back.
Comment briefly on your tumultuous relationship with
I can tell something's coming. What?
with Trouble, because you have these great. By the way, Ari did the greatest storytelling stand-up show, which I got to be a part of once.
Yeah, Hot Chocolate.
And
Hot Chocolate?
It was great. Yeah, This Is Not Happening, which was
Hot Chocolate?
Hot Chocolate. Yeah. And
yeah.
it was, it took me years to get on your show.
Yeah.
2 years.
You had to earn it.
And yeah.
Everyone's like, I want to be on there. I'm like, show me something.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal. I mean, one of the
you crushed.
highlights.
What a great story.
One of the highlights, and that's what I worked on stand up for so long, was to do that longer form storytelling stuff, and then now it's there and it's gone, and I hope to have something else like that again.
The End is back. It's available right now at arishafir.com.
Oh, yeah.
You got to pay for it because I had to pay for it myself. We don't have a network.
Yeah.
It's crazy
it's on
successful. It's on
YMH, right?
But you can go through my website. Yeah, Tom, it's cool. My friends became massive successes. So Tom's like, yeah, borrow my streaming platform.
So many of your friends became massive successes.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Guys like Shane were like, well, like when I started comedy, I wanted to do This Not Happening.
Yeah.
And then it went away. And now I'm an arena comic
Yeah.
slash
Which is
football
crazy.
field.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and so, but I still wanted to do that. It's like that coffee shop that never let you do their fucking Monday night room.
Yeah.
And you're like, just can you please? And then they finally do, and you're like, I'm still gonna do it.
So you have these heights, and then you're always in and out of trouble, which
Yeah.
I think you like.
I do like trouble.
because it's like you had Comedy Central, and then Netflix is like, hey, we're going to do a double special, and you're like, okay, bye, and then you leave Comedy Central, and then Roy takes over your show, and it just wasn't the same. And then you have all these moments where you constantly would get in trouble online and like that. I remember years and years ago, and I asked you for advice on something. You mentioned a female comic in a special, and you're like, oh, and then years later, you're like, I should have just apologized and said, you felt like shit about it after you did it.
Well, as I was telling you, like better understanding of the world, where it's like I was really going like experiment with like specifics.
Yeah.
And like seeing like Bob Oshak, I told you all these great comics that I would see that were like, you might not even know. He became a great writer.
Yeah.
Use like specific. He's talking about cheating on his wife. He's like, you're allowed to look, but at another woman, as long as you don't jump on her, and then it gets a laugh there, like she's the last chopper out of Nam.
Yeah.
Like what a specific.
Yeah.
Or like DePaulo going, you're cresting your dentures instead of brushing your teeth. It's like what a more specific way. And like, anyway, so a lot of that was like names and places.
Yeah.
But it was before anyone would actually. It was like. Before anyone would actually hear about what you did.
Yeah, it wouldn't go viral.
Yeah. And then it did. And I was like, well, I wasn't trying to get it to the person.
Yeah.
I was just trying to. But
Yeah,
then
you feel like naming names. I'll say the name of the girl that gave me chlamydia, and I say it all the time. And I'm sure she's seen it and heard it, and she knows she gave me chlamydia.
Right. But then at some point, you're like, well, I don't want I'm not doing this so your kids see it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, the internet changed to the point where like
The
now
internet
everyone's
changed.
on and everything goes viral. Especially when you guys get more famous, it's like people are watching this shit.
On podcasts, you talk about somebody, and it's like going to be shown to them, so you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. It's a yell of fire in a crowded theater. It's like now that whatever you say probably will get to the person.
Yeah.
So you have to say, "Is this okay?"
Yeah.
So if I'm like, "Yeah, I saw Berg shooting up steroids in the bathroom," I go, "Is Berg gonna be mad about that?" And then I'll probably go, "No, I don't think he will."
Yeah.
I think he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty public about that." So I'm like, "Oh, that's okay."
Yeah.
But if it's like, "Oh, my friend was this chick," and my friend's like, bro, or with a hooker.
Yeah.
And my friend's like, bro, my wife doesn't know I ever went to hookers. And by the way, I was with her then.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, that's not an okay one. It will get back to them. And I told that lady, I'm like, I never wanted you to see this. I'm really sorry. But also, I was experiment. I used Patrick's name when I was talking about fucking getting the worst father I know.
Right. Yeah.
In that same special. And everyone just pointed out the one and not the other. But it was
you
like,
probably don't view yourself as like, oh, a famous person. You're just yourself.
right.
And then when you're saying something, you're like, oh, I don't think it has weight. But then when you realize it does.
But with the new like world, it was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would have changed the name.
Awesome. Final question.
Yeah. So more of a little story. I had bumped into Dice in the gym.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay. And
in the cage. Ari, I'm in the cage.
so I said, hey, we're going to get you on the show. And he's like, what about next week? And I said, no, we have Ari Shaffir. He's like, give me a phone. And he records this little thing. So I will play it for you.
Okay.
Because he was really pissed off about it.
Dice, I love you, Dice, before I even hear this. Oh, it's video too.
Can we hear it?
So,
Yeah.
who's coming on the show?
Oh, we got Ari Shaffir. Yeah.
Ari. The most jealous comic of Dice ever. Oh, yeah. Rogan put him in his place a few weeks ago. And Ari said, gee, I think he sold out the Garden once. But he's always been like antagonist.
I didn't remember it was twice.
I banned him from my
He did ban me from his house.
He was
He banned you
Through my drawers, my fast.
Desk? Yes, going through my desk.
No,
He was
I did not
banned
go through his
from my
desk.
house for like a year.
Yeah.
And
3 years.
He could never handle my success.
Dice, you were huge before I met you.
The best part, what's your first name again?
Jordan.
Jordan. The best part about the whole thing, we did a thing when Jim Norton did a special.
Yeah.
And Ari took down his pants to show the smallest thing.
Down and dirty.
Yeah, he's got a small packet.
It's
I was just asking. I was
and
over
he'd
a question.
come over to me at the Comedy Store and go, we're going to be huge from this. And I was like, I'm already the first and the biggest and undisputed heavyweight comedy king of arena comedy. You know, the first to ever do it.
Yeah.
And you think you're gonna have a big career after showing that thumbtack? Jerk off. I mean, I like the guy.
Sounds like your besties, yeah.
But he's an asshole guy. You know? Tell him I said hello.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me that aloud.
Tell him. And you tell him,
I love Dice so much.
I saw him on Logan, we will see each other again. All right? You understand?
Ari Shaffir,
I do seek out
everybody.
trouble. I do seek out trouble. It's fun to be a heel.
Yeah.
So it's follow me forever. I don't mind it.
Again, The End. You can check it out at YMH and
AriShaffir.com. The special Jew that relates more to this podcast, Netflix or YouTube. First YouTube special that got picked up by Netflix.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and see me taking my pants down and my little thumbtack pecker.
Thumbtack of a dick.
All of his city.
Ari Shaffir.
Thanks so much, man.
Thanks.
All right.
Be back next week with more badass Jews.
Who's on next week? You don't know.
From iron wombs, our fathers, dust breeze, ancient agony, a covenant of ash.